In race 1 at Atlantic Motorsport Park, series points leader Trevor Dion had a shocking get-off.
What a critical error for Dion.
However, he was able to pick up his bike and finish the race on the podium. This left the door open for Yamaha's Jake Leclerc to become the 4th first-time winner this season, and also allowed David MacKay to narrow the points gap to just 14. How will Dion respond here in race 2? And welcome to Shubie, Nova Scotia, Atlantic Motorsport Park for race 6 in an 8-race series for the National Championships in the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike class. And there is our championship points leader, Trevor Dion, as he gets ready for today's races. As Good Robot Brewing Company proudly presents the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike Championships. Brought to you in part by Importation Thibault, Joe Rocket, and Air Helmet. Here we are getting out for the warm-up lap, and I'm joined by Michael Leon once more in color commentary. Welcome aboard, mister.
Thank you, Frank. Happy to be here, and let's look at our starting grid. We have Trevor Dion on pole with David MacKay and Jake Leclerc on the front row. Connor Campbell and Matthew Simpson is on row 2. Notably, Connor Campbell is out with an injury sustained yesterday, which is very unfortunate. Hopefully he gets well soon. And on row 3, we have Elliot Vieira, Louis Rafa, and Brad McRae, who also unfortunately won't be making the grid today.
Yeah, tough break for both Brad McRae and Connor Campbell, both missing from the National Championship grid here. Let's go down and have a chat with Hannah Streak, our Dunlop pit reporter. She has some news on Trevor Dion.
Thanks, guys. Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike points leader Trevor Dion on his LDS Consultants Kawasaki is hoping to keep the bike upright in race 2 here at Atlantic Motorsports Park. In race 1, he had to get off in turn 2, but he managed to pick up the bike and finish 3rd, collecting some very valuable championship points. Trevor said that his team worked very hard yesterday and this morning to repair the superficial damages, so he's not concerned about the performance of his ZX6R. Back to you.
Thanks, Hannah. We are getting ready for the start. The field being held in place right now by Fred Benjamin. He is off the track now. We will look for the Pickles starting lights, and the lights are starting to come on. Now, those lights, when they are all on, anywhere from 1 to 5 seconds. This is a long one, Mike, and we're at launch, and they were away and running and heading down, and it is Jake Leclerc that's got the whole shot.
He's in the lead, fresh off his win, his first win from yesterday. And it's certainly...
There goes Dion right to the inside, and he has taken... Oh, look out now, as Jake just about got knocked off his motorcycle, and MacKay almost had a chance to take advantage of that.
Nice pass by Dion there into corner 2. And where's Louis Rafa? I noticed that he's missing. Frank, have you seen what's going on there?
No, I'm at a total loss on that one. Louis Rafa on the 76 Honda. And we're on board right now with Elliot Vieira and Louis Rafa just about colliding with the back. He had the back wheel right in the air as he's hard on the front brakes. And Mike, he's gone off track.
That was a super close call, Frank, as the onboard footage showed. And corner 1 is not a place where you want to run off here because you get down into the swampy area there and it's difficult to get back on track. So hopefully Louis can get back on and join at the back of the grid and ride around for some points.
Oh, he was hard on those front brakes. You saw the air underneath his back tire, Mike, as he was headed. He obviously wanted to get slowed up a lot, and it looked like MacKay was trying to challenge there to Leclerc. They're running Leclerc in 2nd spot, MacKay in 3rd spot, and look at how tight they are now with Vieira right there as well. They spread out a bit going down into 1, creating a little bit of room for themselves, perhaps.
We have Dion making a break here. And, he had some bad luck yesterday, as most of the grid has had at some points in the year.
Yeah.
But his bad luck, he crashed out of the lead and was able to pick it up and come home for 3rd. So his bad luck wasn't quite as bad as some of the others. But here he is trying to shake off that result from yesterday and leading the race.
On board with Jake Leclerc, we're looking back at David MacKay for a moment, and here we are now with Trevor Dion, and Dion, I believe, is catching up now to Louis Rafa on the Honda, and Rafa, of course, suffering that almost mishap going down at turn 1 is obviously taking a little bit of wind out of his sails.
Yeah, and believe me, it won't make Louis happy to be down a lap on the second lap. Hopefully he can pick up the pace and stay on the lead lap.
Perhaps one of the riders who feels most cheated on that, and I'm reflecting back now to Dion's crash yesterday, that was an opportunity for MacKay to really sprint ahead in the point standings, but this time Dion was able to get up and remount, and he has made a pass. I believe he has made that count on Rafa. And oh yeah, and the rest of the group goes by as well, so Rafa, obviously the sails have gone limp there, Mike.
Yeah, and we have David MacKay running in third place here, battling with Leclerc. And David's definitely going to want to get past him to recover some additional points. He's losing ground in the championship. He needs those points. We only have 3 races left, or 2 races left after this one.
What a terrific contest we have on the go here with Leclerc leading MacKay, and then Vieira and Simpson. And Matt Simpson, rookie rider this year in the pro ranks, doing a great job here. And to the inside goes, beautiful pass by MacKay, and then he lifts the front wheel in celebration on the roller coaster. Watch it again.
We're going to see the replay here. He sets him out, goes around the outside, setting him up for the inside pass, starting up the roller coaster.
Beautifully executed pass, and watch now as MacKay can't quite see it there, but he does lift that front wheel, almost celebrating the accomplishment of getting past that Yamaha rider. Look at that, right to the inside. There is no room in the end there for MacKay, for Leclerc, I should say.
Pretty key for him after he makes that pass to get on the gas as hard as possible, obviously, to not lose the drive up the roller coaster.
Dion with a sizable lead now through the carousel. MacKay in chase, and a huge battle going on for that final podium spot. We'll be right back here on TSN. Closed captioning for the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike class is brought to you in part by Pro Cycle, Goderich Toyota, Dunlop, and AIM Insurance.
Frank, we're working lap 5 of 18 right now, and just before we cut away from commercial, I was watching that battle for second place. It was 4 bikes in the group, and Elliot Vieira was running in 4th at that time, and it seems like he's made his way past Leclerc, and now he's in 3rd, which is good news for him. He had some motorcycle issues yesterday. We're assuming it was electrical. It wasn't really clear. He pulled off the track, pulled back on, and now he's rolling. 3rd place would be a good result for him to recover from some of the issues he's having. It hasn't been a good trip out here so far for him.
This has been a sobering event thus far for Jake Leclerc as well. As one point he had the race lead here, and now he has been shunted all the way back into 4th spot.
And he's gone from winning the race yesterday to leading the race, and now he's back in 4th. The first race after your first win sometimes can be a little bit of not difficulty, but a little bit of pressure. You want to repeat that performance, and sometimes if it doesn't go to plan, it can be frustrating. And this track definitely doesn't lend itself to overriding the bike. If you try too hard here, sometimes it slows you down. This
field has really spread out quite a bit as we watch MacKay trying to make up the distance on Dion. Those two are the key protagonists in the national championship points grab here, and it's MacKay who has the pressure cooker on him right now. That crash down at Grand Bend in race number 1 of this 2022 season has continued to nibble at him.
MacKay had that bad luck. The first event didn't finish, which is a shame. Dion's bad luck came yesterday. He crashed, but he got back up and finished 3rd, and at the end, that break for him may make all the difference. And he has a very comfortable lead right now. He's sitting very safe and looking pretty good.
As seasons end, I think you're right, Michael, that may well factor into the final standings. But we watch MacKay in pursuit again of Dion. And take note also, we have a Kawasaki leading, a Kawasaki in 2nd spot, and then 2 Yamahas being ridden, Vieira and Leclerc, mounted on Yamaha motorcycles, running 3 and 4.
Pretty unique fact here, Frank, that this year for the first time in Canadian sport bike Canadian Superbike history, we've had 4 first-time winners in the same season. And here they are, Trevor Dion, David MacKay, Elliott Vieira, Jake Leclerc. It also happens to be the running order at the moment.
Yeah, that's rather unique. 4 first-time winners, rather. Michael, you've been around the game long enough to realize that this never happened before. It's a record-setting year we're into here. It's
a super interesting year, and I couldn't help but think when this race began if we'd have another first-time winner, continuing that trend. But that doesn't look like it's going to be the case as Dion continues to stretch out his lead.
Yeah, if you look at our running order, Mike, there's only one rider in the top 6, and that's Matt Simpson, who has not scored a national championship win yet.
Yeah, and who knows, before the season's over, he may be our 5th first-time winner, and he's been showing great improvement throughout the year. He got on the podium and Grand Bend, which was pretty remarkable. His first, there was a lot of attrition, but a podium is still a podium.
Yep.
And, we've come to Shubie here. It's a notoriously difficult track, and here he is in the battle for... not imminently for second, but he's in the battle. He's there.
Okay, definitely keeping pace here as we watch them come through turn 11. As is Leclerc, he is still very much part of this conversation, running back in 4th spot, but still, this is Shubie, and I don't need to tell you how stuff can happen here.
Oh yeah, it's a cruel place, a fun place to come. We love the hospitality, but it can be cruel to the riders, and you pay dearly for mistakes. And quite a nice alumni of lightweight riders here in the field. We have, Dion and Leclerc and Simpson. They all came.
Yeah, you're right.
Lightweight class.
Yeah, and we look to the lightweight class, of course. This year they're running in the amateur and pro division combined. And there is a list of our running order there, and we'll be right back on TSN. We're back at Shubie, Nova Scotia, Atlantic Motorsport Park in the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike Championship race here, and we are working lap number 10 of 18. Past the halfway mark, Mike.
Past the halfway mark, and Dion has a pretty comfortable lead here. His pace is a little bit slower than yesterday. If you compare his best lap so far, it's a 10. Yesterday he was in the low 9s. Whereas MacKay has set the fastest lap so far. His similar to Dion's fastest lap yesterday. But I think the damage is done. I think there's a lot of ground for MacKay to cover. Dion put a lot of time in here. He came to the regional.
Yes, good point.
The week ahead, invested in learning the track, getting comfortable, and now he has to just keep it all in line on 2 wheels and bring it home safe.
And that's exactly what he's doing right now as he continues to lead over MacKay and Vieira. I wanted to talk about Vieira for a moment because you'll remember he won at Calabogie Motorsport Park, and he done it in incredible fashion. And he did it when last seen, it was Dion that had a huge lead on the front straightaway, but when they came around for the last lap, it was Vieira who had taken the race win. So stuff can happen.
Yeah, Dion had about a 1.5-second lead with 1.5 laps left, and unfortunately for him, kind of gave it away to Vieira, let him get by. And I think we're witnessing Dion, who has a tremendous amount of talent. I think we're witnessing him build his racecraft throughout this season. He's made some errors, but he seems to be learning. So far this race, he's learning from the area, from yesterday. Hasn't thrown it away.
On board with Jake Leclerc now, Mike, and we're closing up on Elliott Vieira. Looks like we have something happening between these two youngsters, as out in front, Dion with a large lead. MacKay is fighting the brave fight. Wow, that was a wide line that Vieira used there.
He did, went very wide, atypical of that spot on the track, but we've noticed that Vieira tends to use wide
MacKay's on the move now. Sorry, Leclerc rather is on the move. Leclerc to the inside. Can he make it happen? No, but he was right alongside there for a moment.
Vieira just kind of shut the door on him, and Vieira's never shy to be a little aggressive and close the door.
Well, aggression is also spelt Leclerc, as he has been very, very aggressive. He's a rider that truly gets his elbows on the ground, and he's gone hunting on this day, and I believe that his next prey will be Elliott Vieira. Watch closely here.
And Leclerc, a former amateur sport bike champion, as well his brother, also a former amateur sport bike champion.
His brother Ben, who's gone motocrossing.
Coming from a racing family. And having won yesterday, I'm sure he's hungry to get back on the podium, because sometimes 4th is the worst place to finish.
On board with Vieira right now, looking back at Jake Leclerc. Leclerc now pulling up to Vieira's right as they head down into turn number 1. Not going to happen this time. Leclerc
tried to show him a wheel there, but Vieira wouldn't have seen that because he wasn't able to get alongside him.
Let's check in with our Dunlop pit reporter, Hannah Streak. She has more information on Mr. Leclerc.
Thanks, guys. Race 1 winner Jake Leclerc is currently in 4th place. In Race 1, the Blue Crew Yamaha rider won his first ever national pro sport bike race. He became the 4th first-time winner in 5 races in the 2022 season. Now, I spoke to Jake before the race, and he said he's feeling good about his chances of repeating, so we'll see if he can move up. Back to you.
Well, if he's going to move up, he's going to have to first deal with Elliot Vieira. Michael?
Yeah, and a little bit of an elastic effect here. Vieira seems to be able to pull out a little bit of a lead, and then Leclerc seems to be reeling back in. I guess their speed is different on different portions of the track. They're on the same motorcycle, though, but the setup may be quite different.
No doubt the two Yamahas running in 3rd and 4th position as we speak. In through the carousel once more, and Jake Leclerc, look at how close his elbow comes to the ground as he comes through turn 10. Now up through Canfield corner. That is turn number 11, and up and over the hill, and they dive down into turn 1. That is a daunting piece of asphalt.
Yeah, last lap, Leclerc was a bit closer on the entrance to 1. Now he's looking up the inside in 2. Trying to, at this point of the race, he'd be following, looking for where Elliott is weak.
We're going to take a quick break now. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Shubie as Good Robot Brewing Company presents Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike National Championship Racing. Brought to you in part by Importation Thibault, Joe Rocket, and Eri Helmet. On board with our race leader, Trevor Dion. We're working lap 14 of 18. Michael, he's got a clear field of vision up front here. 4 laps to go.
Open track ahead of him. A nice anecdote story about the camaraderie in our series here. Dion had suffered an issue with his A bike on Friday evening, and former sport bike champion and current superbike podium finisher Seb Tremblay and his brother helped him rebuild that engine in the pits Friday night.
Sebastian Tremblay, of course, was dominant in the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike class, wrapping up the last 2 seasons, sweeping them, and then deciding there's not enough competition in this class. I'm going to race superbikes. He's missing a lot of good racing.
He certainly is, and the pace has not dropped off. At each track we come to, these guys are going just as fast as Seb was going.
The pace between Vieira and Leclerc here in particular, very, very intense here. As we noted, our 1st and 2nd place runners somewhat spread out, but this is a great battle.
It's a terrific battle. And, a little more about Vieira. We talked about it in previous episodes, but he came to Canada from Guyana mainly to race motorcycles. Clive Nickageen, who's a former Canadian superbike competitor, came to know his family, and through the relationship invited him here to ride. He had watched him race down in Guyana, and now he's been here for a few years racing with us.
Has he ever? He hasn't had a great deal of luck either. It was very, very pleased indeed to see him doing so well so far through the 2022 season. He's a very likable young man and obviously a very capable racer. And speaking of capable racers, he has one of Canada's finest behind him right now in Jake Leclerc. And I think Jake is starting to get aggressive here. Albeit there's a bit of distance between them right now, but you watch at certain portions of that racetrack, particularly between 3 and 4, I think you're going to see Leclerc show his intentions distinctly. And indeed, he has closed up some distance there in 11.
You see him make it up out of the last corner. At this point, all bets are off. Leclerc has to make a move, because at this point in the race, if there's a red flag, they're going to call it, and he needs to get in front ASAP.
Yeah, good point.
So no more time to study what's going on, wait for an error. He's got to get up front and bust his way through if he can, and get ahead of him.
Well, the other thing we have to consider too is Vieira, of course, is getting those pit signals, and I don't doubt there are times when he can actually hear Leclerc's bike as well, so he has a certain amount of inspiration therein, from the signage on the front straightaway to the motor that's running behind him.
Leclerc has quite that MotoGP current modern style. He hangs off the motorcycle quite a bit. You can see him sticking his elbow out there. And, some of that he might have picked up when he went overseas to the Rossi camp a couple years ago. Obviously, he's emulating that style. And it's at this track, it's not the best track for that style, but he's making it work here. Here it's almost more of a motocross track. You have to kind of stay. It pays dividends sometimes, stay up over the motorcycle to control it over all those bumps.
Well, many, if not most, of the riders involved in road racing are now using knee pucks, but I would suggest that Leclerc could probably use an elbow puck, as he really look at him there again. Sure. That elbow just off the surface.
Yeah, we got just 2 laps. We're on lap 17, so Leclerc's got to make it happen now if he's going to make it happen.
The battle for third place is what we're watching, and it's Jake Leclerc who's running in 4th spot right now. And after winning yesterday, I'm sure he has a certain amount of frustration there, Michael.
Yeah, he's not going to want to be left off that podium. He'll want to taste the champagne again.
Once you've tasted it, eh? Down in through corner number 5. Now onto the roller coaster once more we go. Watching Elliot Vieira, and yeah, Vieira's got a pretty good cushion here. I can't see as much as I'd like to see them start to mix it up here. I can't see. Well, maybe he's going to make a liar out of me, as he is right there, Michael.
He's, he is definitely making up time here.
Well, each rider has certain sections of the racetrack where they do a little bit better than on other portions. And this carousel section that we're just coming out of, I think, is Leclerc's weak spot.
Into 2 this is the last lap, Frank, and into 2 is probably the best place to pass if you can carry some speed around the outside of 1 to set the rider up into 2, which is not what Leclerc's been doing up to now. We'll see if he can give that a shot.
And look at Dion. He is so smooth there, and absolutely no challenge coming from his nearest competitor in the championship chase. And we're talking about David MacKay there on the 82 Kawasaki.
Yeah, this race would have been a very good chance for him to make up some points, because he's run out of time. There's only 2 races after this for him to do so. Well,
Dion, as we mentioned, he came down a week early. He got to learn the track. He had a great deal of help from Sebastian Tremblay and the Turcotte group, and he's riding like a champion.
Yeah, he's
truly
putting in the time, and he's doing the work, and it's paying off for him.
On board with Leclerc now. Oh, and a big moment! Wow!
He got kicked out of the seat. He's lucky to save that one, but unfortunately for Elliot, that let Leclerc by. I mean, and that's a gift.
And there is Dion taking his 2nd win of the season. And he goes down into turn 1. Let's go back and watch the action now between Vieira and Leclerc, as that battle is still very much on the go. They come out of corner 11 for the final time. Leclerc has the advantage right now. Vieira closing, but no! Leclerc has taken 3rd spot.
Considering the distance that that Leclerc had gained on him, Vieira made a lot of it back up there in the last 2-3 corners of that race.
And there we have confirmed his 2nd victory and a points lead for Trevor Dion of 21. He has actually extended his points lead over David MacKay, so this has not been a good weekend.
Final results are Trevor Dion, David MacKay, Jake Leclerc, Elliot Vieira, Matt Simpson, and Louis Rafa in 6th.
All right, Trevor, race 1, the bike went down. You managed to pick it up, finished 3rd. Race 2, you had some vindication of sorts with the victory. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's obviously a fantastic feeling. I couldn't be happier enough. It was a great race. We led start to finish, and I'd like to thank everybody, all my sponsors, LDS Consultants. Again, he's a huge sponsor for our series, and he's helped us out big time throughout the years. And everybody else that supports me, Team LTD, DP Brakes, John Bickle, Rhino Power, everybody else that supports us, and my mechanics. And obviously, the biggest one is I couldn't have done this without Sebastian Tremblay and his brother and his other buddies are helping us out all weekend getting stuff ready, and as well as Alex Dumas, crew chief Patrice. He helped us out big time last weekend with setup when we were here for the regionals.
2 races to go in the 2022 season, and it sure looks like Trevor Dion's got a stranglehold on this one.
The LDS Consultants racer is going to be very happy with that 21-point lead, which is almost a full race in hand going to the 2 final races at Motorsport.
That wraps it up from Shubie, Nova Scotia. Next stop on the circuit is Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. On behalf of the entire CSBK crew, thank you so much for being with us. See you next time.